YouTube. What was that?
I just put my hand down on
Like
my
this.
leg.
Hey YouTube, hello and welcome to another video. Today we are taking you guys through a well-requested video from you guys, and that is a 14-day Bali itinerary. Vickers and I went to Bali in July this year and it was like the best holiday of our lives, right?
It was.
Literally the best thing ever. So we are going to try hustle through this itinerary today. There is a lot to take in, so we're just going to give you guys all the important things. So before going to Bali, these are the things that we would absolutely recommend you do. The first thing is make sure that you check online to see what the requirements are to enter Bali right now. We needed our vaccination certificates. Download 2 apps onto your phone, that being Grab and Gojek. These are like the Balinese version of Uber. So you're going to use this to get around Bali most of the time. And the other thing is, I would definitely recommend just exchanging your money into Balinese, Indonesian rupiah in South Africa. And the reason for this is, in Bali, everyone wants to negotiate you down, and it's very, very stressful. So
yeah, and there was a few places that didn't know what the hell ZAR is.
Yeah, they don't even know what is South Africa? Where is that even?
Yeah, all they know is Waka Waka.
Waka Waka. But besides that, you're just gonna find it so stressful to try and get your money's worth. They all wanna like go below the exchange rate. You're gonna lose a lot of money. So we were just like, yeah, next time we go, we're just gonna exchange in SA. So watch the exchange rate and then just convert before you go.
Okay, cool. So day one. So we arrived in Bali at the airport. Michaela did most of the things. I'm not really sure what happened. I was pretty out of it. I was still asleep and everything was just so crazy. We arrived there at like...
Half past 10
at night.
And you're gonna have a little bit of jet lag.
Yeah, I think that's what happened to me. But anyway, we arrived at the airport and we got a driver to take us to our hotel in Canggu. And we got to our hotel. It was called La Lassa Villas. It was quite a vibe. There was like this private pool and we had a little bar fridge. I mean, that's the only thing that mattered to me when we got to Bali, because I love myself a bentang. And we kind of got there. We were so moeg and tired that we went straight to bed. And our plan was to get up early the next morning to just have a full day in Canggu. And I think did we get up early the next morning?
No, we ended up sleeping in because we were so moeg. So yeah, to add on that, I would just say, if you don't organize someone to collect you from the airport to take you through to wherever you want to stay first, as we said, we stayed in Canggu, then you can actually get a Grab. Just make sure that you have already converted money. If you haven't, you can actually exchange some money at the bank. Okay, so day 2 in Bali, we are now going to be in Canggu. We would recommend hiring a scooter for the day. It's going to cost you anything between 50 and 85 Rand per day, depending on where you hire it from. Try to do a little bit of negotiating for yourself. And we would also recommend day 2, get yourself a SIM card. It's literally going to cost you like 95 Rand and you'll have bottomless gigs. I mean, our SIM card lasted us the whole holiday. I think you get like 25 gigs for 95 Rand, guys. Never in our lives in SA would we experience such good data. But yeah, it's dirt cheap, and just spend the next day kind of going through, traveling around Seminyak and Canggu. We went to a really cool restaurant. It was called Warung Sika. That was in Canggu.
That was
the best warung. We would definitely
amazing.
say, while you're in Bali, experience Balinese food as much as possible. It will save you a ton of money. So go to as many warungs as you can and eat a lot of egg fried rice. So we went to Warung Sika, which was amazing. We also had a massage while we were in Canggu. It's dirt cheap. It's going to cost you max 200 to 250 Rand per hour per person, which is much cheaper than South Africa. So we would definitely recommend that. Check out Barawa Beach for sunset. We had like a couple drinks at Barawa Beach, which was amazing. The sunset is beautiful. And then if you want to go for a jawl on day 2, you're going to have a little bit of jet lag still, but check out Old Man's, which is also quite a vibe.
Okay, cool. So day 3, we woke up pretty early because we were gonna have a waterfall day on our way to Ubud. So we got ourselves a tour guide and we left at around 6 because you kind of want to beat the masses because it can get really busy at the waterfalls later in the day. So make sure if you want to do a waterfall day, decide which waterfalls you really want to see first and try to go to them first. But we kind of had this little like a road trip thing and stopped at each one on our way to Ubud. We woke up early, left early, and the first waterfall we went to was Tungenungan. And that was a pretty cool one. You can see it from the top, then you walk down, and then at the bottom, you can take the most amazing photos, but everything was so wet. The camera, everything was
There's
just
just
wet.
like water blowing from the waterfall. So Gunungan was a bit crazy.
Yeah.
What I liked about our waterfall route though is it wasn't like all over the place. You weren't driving like up and down, back and forth to go to the waterfalls. So we did Tugunungan and then we did Kantu Lampu.
Kantu Lampu. That's the one that's like, you stand
This
in the
was
middle.
the worst one for me. Guys, I'm so scared of heights and you literally, like you go stand on this rock thing in the water, soaking wet. So that wasn't my favorite waterfall, but it's beautiful. So
And
we would
there's-
definitely recommend.
There's the awesome Balinese guys with their phones
Yes,
taking photos
the
and
Balinese
videos.
guys are like videographers.
Yeah, they're amazing. They do all these tricks. They take your phone and then they do all these amazing things. And they actually taught us settings that we didn't have, like we have on our iPhones, like long exposure and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. So you give your phone to
Yeah.
them and they take amazing
And then you
pics.
just give them a tip afterwards. They're all like very friendly, so you'll love them. The next one we went to was Goa Rang Rang. Is that the one where we had to walk
We walked through the river. Yeah.
Yeah, so that one
pretty
was
awesome.
quite hectic. You can't take like hectic stuff because you're going to walk pretty deep, right?
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
had a bag on our backs and I think that was okay.
Yeah.
But then you're going to swim as well at some point. And the poor like guy was holding our bag above his head, wasn't he?
Oh yes, because the water comes up.
Yeah.
So like but when you get to the where you want to be, it's pretty amazing.
There's like a swing there. It's very beautiful. So we love that one. And then we did Tibumana. I can't remember much about Tibumana.
Tibumana was just a beautiful, it almost looks like a veil. It's like the straight, perfect waterfall. And it's just beautiful. And when you look up, you just see the sun there in the background.
I think it was the one that's just like the perfect waterfall looking waterfall.
Yes.
Like it just looks like a waterfall. And then we went to Suwat.
Suwat was
Suwat,
awesome.
I think, was my favorite one. Other
Okay.
than the other one we
Yes,
went to, which
yes.
we'll get to just now.
Yes.
Okay, so after your waterfall day, then we checked into Kamala Resort, right?
Yes.
Kamala was our favorite resort
It was amazing.
in the whole thing. Look, it was pretty pricey, but just so many things about it were incredible. So we absolutely would recommend checking out Kamala. And then we had dinner at Warunguni.
Warunguri.
Warunguri. So another Balinese restaurant.
Yeah. Okay, so day 4. Day 4 was just a day in Ubud. We just chilled a bit and we went to the monkey sanctuary, or it's called the monkey forest.
Yeah.
And that was so cool. I just loved the little monkeys. And you can take photos with the monkeys. They come and sit on your lap. And that was a pretty amazing experience. There's a whole walk you can do. And it was just kind of very tranquil and amazing to hear all the sounds and stuff. So I loved the monkey forest. And then we just had a very chill day. I think we just floated around on the pool and drank. Had
nasi goreng.
Had some nasi goreng. I had some pork belly that day. That
Yes,
was
I
also
remember.
amazing. But you said that was one of the best nasi gorengs you
Yes,
had.
I had a nasi goreng at Kamala Resort. That was one of the best nasi gorengs I had on the vacay.
And then that night we stopped to Biki. I think it was about maybe 3 kilometers 3 kilometers.
Yeah.
And we got to Murni's Warung,
Yeah,
which was
that was
pretty
also
cool because it's
amazing.
like multiple stories. We obviously, when you walk in, you're basically on the on the ground floor and then it goes down. But we sat at the top and then I just walked down. It's like in a little valley.
Yeah.
It was beautiful and it was also some good
There's
food.
lots to do in Ubud, and I think on Bali itself, Ubud is my favorite place to go to. It's just very tranquil. There's lots to do. There's lots to see. There's a lot of restaurants. There's markets, all kinds of things. So we would definitely recommend checking out Ubud. Okay, so day 5, we checked out of Ubud and we got a guide to take us for the day. We were going to Cinnamon for our next part of our stay. Cinnamon was also a vibe. So on the way to Cinnamon, we sideman. We stopped at Gembleng Waterfall. Now Gembleng was our favorite waterfall that we experienced in Bali. It was a lot more quiet than the other waterfalls, mainly because people don't really go through to closer to Cinnamon.
Yeah.
They like being in Ubud. So we absolutely loved Gembleng Waterfall. It was for sure our favorite waterfall. And then you definitely want to check out some rice terraces. So we stopped at like a viewpoint where you can check out the rice fields. I think we stopped at a place called Burung Organic. Yeah, so it's like a little restaurant where you can eat more nasi goreng and then just check out the rice paddy vibes. And all the burungs in Bali are super, super cheap. And that's the nice thing about experiencing Balinese culture. I think you're gonna pay at most like 150 bucks for 2 meals with 2 to 3 beers.
Yeah.
So after that, then we checked into our little villa in Cinnamon, which was called Zen Getaway, which was also just one of our favorites. We definitely had some safety concerns at Zen Getaway because obviously as South Africans, we are like so concerned about everything. But this place had no doors.
Yeah, it was completely open.
It was completely open. There was just blinds and we like left our bags there for some time while we weren't there. But just the most beautiful place. So we would definitely recommend Zen Getaway if you are heading through to Cinnamon. And once checking in, all you want to do is arrange a scooter with your host because we're going to need it the next day.
Cool. So for day 6, we woke up in Cinnamon.
We did the waterfall first.
Yes, because that was one of our favorite waterfalls that we actually wanted to see so badly. So we decided to wake up early
and go there.
Get there early, even though it got really busy while we were there.
Yeah.
It was called Tukat Sepung. And that is like the waterfall you'll see all over Instagram.
Yeah, it's the most
really
popular
beautiful.
waterfall in Bali. Yeah. I think personally, it's a little bit overrated. Like, I think Gembleng's way better.
Yeah. But it was cool. So you have this main part where everyone wants to take photos, but when you walk the other way, there's this
a lot of little waterfalls that are better.
It's got this jungle vibe, and that was also beautiful to us. And I think I had a mocha there at the restaurant, and you had a coffee, and that was it. Then we visited Besaki Temple. That is the great temple of Bali, the biggest temple.
And it's old.
It's old. I think it's like one of the oldest in Indonesia, if not the oldest. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yes, that was an awesome experience. So when we got there, we got a guide. We paid him like 50 bucks or something.
Yeah, so the guides, it actually cost 60 rand to enter the temple, and then you can choose to have a guide, and then you just pay him a donation.
Yeah.
But it's quite nice to have a guide because you'll learn a little bit about Balinese culture. I'm not very into history related things, so this was like the only history thing that we did, but it was really cool and the temple's super beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And then on our way back to our villa, we stopped at a restaurant called Lorong Agung, and it was beautiful because you sit in this restaurant and you have this amazing view of Mount Agung. So it's just insane. And the coolest thing about that restaurant...
Mount Agung is a volcano, in case you're wondering.
Yes, and it's still active.
Yeah, it's an active volcano.
Yeah, but it's beautiful and it's huge. But the best thing about this restaurant was this bat, the pet bat that they have. Like when you walk into the restaurant, there's this huge bat, probably this big, just hanging from a tree, and you can actually feed it watermelon.
Yeah.
It was like the coolest thing
The
ever.
bat was very cool.
Yeah. So that was basically day 6. It was like a chill day. Mm-hmm. Waterfall, temple, bat, back home.
Okay, so day 7, you are going to need a guide or a taxi to take you to Padang Bai because we are going to be taking a fast boat to Gili T. Now, Gili T was literally our favorite part of Bali. This was my second time going to Bali, but only my first time going to Gili T. And it was like the best thing ever. Mm-hmm. So you don't need to book your boats in advance. Honestly, like just arrive at the bay, the port, mm-hmm. whatever you want to call it, and you can just book a fast boat and go. I'm just gonna add, my fast boat experience was far from wonderful. I absolutely hated it. So I'm just gonna add that into the mix. So, you know, it's worth it to go to Gili T. I just did not enjoy my experience on the fast boats. But after you arrive in Gili T, we checked into Gili Eco Villas. And then you're just going to grab yourself a bicycle. There are absolutely no cars allowed on Gili T, so you're going to grab yourself a bike. You can explore the little island. It's literally going to take you 10 minutes to get from the one side of the island to the other on a bike, but it is just incredible. There's so many little stores. There's so many little restaurants. You can check out some live music in the evening, watch the sunsets. We got another massage here because massages are just a must in Bali. But Gili is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, so Gili was my favorite experience. I loved just the little island. I could lie on that beach for days. And I went snorkeling the one day. We went snorkeling and I saw a sea turtle, and that was one of the best experiences ever. And it was right in front of our little hayseed that we stayed at. So on day 8, what you want to do is you want to go do some island hopping. You can go to Gili Air and Gili Meno. We didn't do it because we loved Gili T so much. We just loved
Gili T. We actually bumped into some family while we were in Gili T, and they were staying on Gili Air, and they just said it's not as amazing. So we were like, we're not going to waste our time, but we would definitely recommend it. I mean, you can do mantra ray snorkeling.
Yes.
I'm just not a snorkeling fan. There's something about having my head in the ocean that I don't enjoy. But Vickers did a little bit of snorkeling outside our resort with the turtles, which he absolutely loved.
And then so that night on day 8, we went to the market on Gili T, and it was the best thing.
The best dinner ever.
So you walk into this market and there's just all of the food that you can think of. There's from fish to chicken, seafood, there's beef, there's whatever you want to have, and they have all of the sides. And then you pay a certain amount, and then you choose.
Pay by weight or something.
Yeah, and then you choose what you want to have. And we had some, what was that, like a fish called? Mahi mahi.
Oh yes, they did have mahi mahi.
Yeah, that was amazing. And we dished up this whole plate of food, and then they cooked the food right there.
Yeah.
And you go sit down in the middle of the market, and everyone just sits and eats together and have a great time. So that was a great experience.
Yeah. So we definitely recommend eating at the market. It's also going to cost a lot less than going to the fancy schmancy westernized restaurants. Okay, on day 9, we're going to take a boat to Lembongan, something like that.
Nusa
Lembongan, yeah. Then from there, when you arrive there, there's so many taxi services basically waiting for you. Don't forget to negotiate. And we stayed at Akala Shri. So we absolutely loved Akala. We just found that it was a little bit high up on the mountain, and the road to get there was a little bit crazy. So, if you're going to be hiring a scooter, you need to make sure that you are an experienced scooter driver to get up the mountain. That's probably the only thing we would say about Akala, but we really loved the resort. It had the most beautiful view. So you can spend some time when you arrive in Lembongan just exploring Lembongan. I'm not going to say that anymore. On a scooter, which you will be able to get. Most of the places allow you to rent scooters from them, so you don't have to go on a mission to try find one. There's beautiful places to see there, so you can just explore that little island for the day. We had a restaurant right next to Akala called Damas.
Yeah.
Damas Yummy Wurung. I think that's what it was called.
Like a little family.
Yeah, it was owned by a husband and wife, and they had 2 kids. The best nasi goreng we had in Bali, and just the most beautiful people. So we actually ended up having dinner there 2 nights in a row. But we definitely recommend checking that one out.
Cool. So day 10, that was an exciting day. So we were still on Nusa Lembongan, not Lembongan. Yes, that one. And we started our day with taking our scooter kind of around the island. And we went to the mangrove forest first, which was such a vibe. So you stop, and there's this little, I almost want to call it this little mini port on a river, where there's these boats that people use sticks to propel the boats. Yeah. And it was just so cool. So we got this guy, we got onto the boat. It was a bit scary because it's this random guy standing on the back of the boat with a stick.
That speaks zero English, by the way.
But it was the most amazing experience. So he took us through this forest. So it's basically the mangrove, that's what they call, right?
Mangrove forest.
Yeah. It's all around you. So you're going through these little tunnels kind of on this river. So that was an amazing experience. And then we went to Nusa Senengan. That is the other island. So you get the three Nusas, the Nusa Penida, Nusa Lembongan, and Nusa Senengan. So you go over the yellow bridge, which is...
where only scooters can cross.
Yes.
It's very nerve-wracking to get over there because only one scooter can fit at a time.
Yeah.
So that was a bit crazy.
So we had to take our scooter over the bridge to the other island, and we went straight to Secret Beach.
Yes, that was beautiful.
Yes, so I had a beer there, and we just sat there and chilled at the little restaurant. Then we went down, and it was so cool. It was a very beautiful beach. Then we went back up, and we saw the Blue Lagoon. It was like right there.
Yeah.
And I think it's called Blue Lagoon because the water is such a perfect blue. It is so beautiful to see it from the cliffs.
Yeah.
So that was quite the experience. And then we drove around this island, and we stopped at what was that place called?
It's called like
Senengan Cliffs.
Senengan Cliffs restaurant.
Guys,
beautiful.
That was beautiful. So you sit on the edge of this cliff, and then on the other side, so you're kind of looking at Nusa Penida, but there's this it's, what would we call it? It's like
just like a plank thing that you put your food on, so you're looking over.
But it feels like you're on the edge of
Yeah.
the cliff. But it was the most amazing view.
Yeah.
Okay, and then after that, we went back to Nusa Lembongan, and we went to Devil's Tear. Devil's Tear or Devil Tear?
Devil's Tear.
Thanks, Melif. Devil's Tear. And it is so cool because what happens is the waves crash into the cliffs, and it does this whole... It kind of sucks in the water and then it spits it out. Yeah. It's like the coolest thing ever. So that was quite the experience. And after that, I guess we went back to our room.
I think we explored Nusa Lembongan a little bit. There's a lot of like cool little shops. There's some cool nightlife there. But then we ended up going back to our room for dinner because we just knew, you can't be disappointed because it was so good. And we just really wanted to support them. Okay, so day 11, we took a fast boat to Nusa Penida, which is the island literally like right next door. It doesn't take long to get there. And we got a tour guide for this day because we wanted to do everything in one day. We only spent one day in Nusa Penida or one night. So we decided we are going to tackle all of the activities that you can do in Nusa Penida. And there's so many. There's Tembling, Kelengkling. Is Kelengkling the one that looks like a dinosaur?
Yeah.
Angels, Billabong, Broken Beach, 1,000 Islands,
Diamond
right?
Beach, yeah.
Diamond Beach. There's so many things.
The treehouse.
And the treehouse. That was also at like...
Some of them are like...
Yeah, 1,000 Islands and
together.
Diamond Beach are like next to each other.
And
like
then
it's a
the
bit
treehouse is
complicated.
right there, yeah.
But you can divide those activities up into 2 days. We were just like, we're going to gooi and get it all done in one day. And then we checked into Nusa Penida Green Suites, which was like a room made completely out of bamboo, which was very, very cool.
It was cool.
It's something very, very different. It was also just a really cool place, so we really enjoyed staying there. And the next day, what day would that have been?
Day 12.
Day 12. We just chilled in the morning, and then we took a boat back to Sanur, which is back to Bali.
Yeah.
So we went from Nusa Penida back to Bali.
Yeah. And then from there, we kind of went straight from the port to go and check in at the Renaissance.
In Uluwatu. Yeah.
What a vibe.
Yeah, Uluwatu is also very cool. It's also like a Cape Town of Bali.
It's kind of the surfers paradise. Yeah.
So we would say once, we actually kind of chilled for the next 2 days, but you can check out the Kikak fire dance the day that you get there, so day 12. Which is apparently incredible.
At the Uluwatu temple, yeah.
Yeah. And then day 13, would it be day 13?
Yeah, day 13 when we...
Yeah, day 13 we chilled at the resort the whole day. But there's like a bunch of things that you can actually do in Uluwatu. There's a lot of beautiful beaches. There's the Uluwatu temple. I do believe the Uluwatu temple is really cool to check out in the morning. So try do that.
Yeah.
What else is there in Uluwatu?
The beaches. It's they have the most beautiful beaches.
Wasn't like Padang Beach or something like that?
Yes.
There is something like Boma Cliffs that you can also check out in Uluwatu. So yeah, we pretty much just chilled at our resort the next day. lounged around on the pool. We had a beautiful sunset. The Renaissance has the most incredible food.
Yeah.
It has an incredible Indonesian restaurant there, so we really, really enjoyed that. And then went to bed. Day 14, we chilled, and then we had to fly back to SA. Yeah. So it was very sad to come home. We would definitely say if you are on the fence about going to Bali, you will have the most incredible holiday of your life. And it is so affordable for South Africans. So we would definitely recommend going to Bali.
Yeah.
What would you say was your favorite place to stay?
My favorite place to stay.
Yeah, like what area?
What area? Gili Tea.
I
It was
agree.
just Gili Tea. It's just island vibes. The water is the most beautiful blue. It feels like you're on a tropical island. It's
Yeah.
just, it's such a vibe.
I would say Gili Tea and Ubud are my non-negotiables when going to Bali.
Yes. Yes.
If you're a Jola, you'll love Canggu. If you like to relax and see beautiful things, Ubud is like the
Yes.
place to be. But you can see plenty things in 14 days. So we really hope you guys enjoyed this Bali itinerary today. I hope it helps guide you a little bit as to what the things are that you can do in Bali. And yeah, that's it from us.
Yeah. Lekker. We'll see you guys at the
Soon.
next video.
At the next video. Bye.
Bye.